Like Matt said, we just wrapped up fall camp, had an exhibition at Tulane, saw a lot that we need to improve on. It's nice to always finally get to see yourself against somebody else because we did a really good job in preseason, our fall camp, really competitive, really athletic, but then seeing what we look like with somebody else across the net was nice. There are things that we do well in and definitely a lot of areas that we need to improve. But from here, we now open at home Friday against Jackson State at 6 p.m.
When going up in Tulane, against Tulane, what was the one or two things that you felt most encouraged seeing your team with your team?
I think, after getting out first set jitters, because right now we do have a lot of young players on the court. And so working through just getting that out of the first set and getting a little bit more comfortable, they were able to make adjustments. Now, with making those adjustments, we just need to clean up our style of play. With us playing such a fast tempoed game, we have to be really clean. And so once we clean up those areas, we'll be a lot better.
You talked last week about having so many new faces, but you said the cohesion and the communication was good. Now, how did that translate to Tulane and actual gameplay? Was the cohesion and the communication still what you wanted, or do you think it needs to be worked on?
It is. So, yes and no. I would say this team has battled through a lot of adversity in the last week. And so, making some adjustments and trying to figure out playing with different people that they might not be used to, but still doing a really great job through all of that, just working with what they can. And, they're figuring out, and we are as well. But I think overall, again, like once they got out those first set jitters, that they did a really good job.
Talk about just how much excitement there is around the team to now be able to keep the season off and then play at home.
Yeah, I think for us, with where we are right now, it's really good that we are home and not having to travel first weekend. I think just having our home crowd, having our backs, just for 3 days is going to be really good for this team. I know that they're ready to play. I know that they're ready to be at home playing. And so for me, I'm excited that we are home.
During camp or in the free, or during camp and with Tulane, is there anyone that kind of pleasantly surprised you, kind of came out of nowhere? It's like, oh, did not see this from you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say just unexpectedly out of nowhere. I know that we have a freshman right now who is in a starting role that took on a really heavy load against Tulane, which she probably will for a lot of the season. Jazz Gaston, she's an outside from Austin, Texas, but she did really well with the load that she was given at Tulane. And so I think just trying to get her to mature a little bit faster than what we would have needed earlier is going to be the biggest thing for her. We're going to need her to step up and play a big role for us this year.
So how important was it to have for her and the younger players to have that one preseason on the road to kind of get some of that experience out there?
No, I think it was huge for this team. I don't think they're very satisfied with just the entire outcome of the match. I think with sitting down talking, there are good things to take from it. There's a lot of things that we need to improve on, but overall they're not satisfied just because they are such a competitive group. And so that's a really good starting point for us moving forward, just because they do want to go win.
The last 2 seasons, you guys started on the road a lot in those last 2 seasons. Now you're starting at home, at your place. You mentioned 3 games all at your place. How big is that, knowing that you get to start the season with that crowd behind you?
Yeah, I think it will be good. I think Saturday and Sunday will be interesting just because we do have football at home. I'm hoping that we have a decent crowd on Friday just because it is the first game of the season. But sitting down in our staff meeting this morning, the first couple weeks, the first 3 weeks are still pretty difficult on the road because we added in a couple midweek games, one on the road, one at home. But there's a stretch of probably 14 days where they only have 1 day off, which is going to be difficult. But I think this team will do a good job with that. But being at home for 2 of those weeks, I think, is huge for us.